District 4. I come to speak in behalf of Court Order 21. This is about economic justice. There has been a war on my community, the LGBT community, for half a century. It's a civil rights struggle that's lasted more than any other civil rights struggle in history. Because most use different means to try to judge our community through different beliefs and make decisions and orders such as this about a belief or about a judgment. I want to say what was so eloquently said in the invocation earlier. It should be about justice, peace, and mercy. Justice is love in public. And I hope that the Commissioner's Court takes in account all the speakers on this issue. Regardless of our disagreements, no one should be under the illusion that an issue has one side. And every civil rights struggle has been represented in the Commissioner's Court today. There are women and African American and Hispanic people that sit on that court today because of people like us who stand in the face of injustice. My hope is that whether you can recognize that a pattern of unity is woven in the aspects of the society of man, and that stay thou art so fair, there would be no sure way for us to lose our freedoms and our true meaning of our heritage than to make the same mistakes that have been made in the past by denying freedoms to someone else. This is about survival for our community. The only judgment that should be passed in the workplace should be about performance. It should not be about who you are or what you believe. And I hope that this court takes these words into account. And I hope that everybody that supports Court Order 21 would stand right now in support of Court Order 21 and show that you support that issue of economic justice in the LGBT community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Jeffrey.
And I know you're probably thinking, why is this 16-year-old standing here? But I'm actually a 24-year-old young professional. My parents have been married for over 25 years. They still hold hands in the car, and sometimes I even still catch them kissing. I only tell you guys this so that you have a little bit of background. But when I came out to my parents, my mother told me that she tried to do everything she could so that I could succeed in life. And she was scared that I was now going to miss opportunities. She told me I was going to have to try twice as hard as anyone else because people were going to hate me just because of who I was. I told her I had no choice. So she told me, I love you. My father said, all right, but no more surprises. Right after my transition, I looked really awkward and no one would hire me. So I did what anyone else does when you can't find a real job. I went into sales. For a year and a half after my transition, I worked as a roofing salesman. I was consistently in the top 10% of my company and even had over $45,000 in sales for 1 week, beating the top salesman as one of the youngest employees. About a year in, they found out I was transgender, and the joking and the taunting became so bad that I left because I felt like I had no option. Fast forward to now, I'm a proud graduate of the Professional Leadership Program, a student at the University of North Texas, and I'm currently employed at an amazing marketing and advertising agency in Frisco, Texas, full-time. On the first day, I made the choice to be honest with my employer. I informed my boss that this was who I am, and I was willing to be as open or as closed as I needed to be. And the response was, we don't want to work with anyone who doesn't accept you. I took a huge risk telling them, I can't express the fear you feel when you could be passed over for a job or let go, not because of your talent, but simply because of who you are. If I were to hide who I am, I would constantly be changing details or small nuances about the story. And to be honest, not all the changes work. I can't make out that I learned to braid in Boy Scouts. Today I shared only one of the many displays of discrimination I've seen. I've seen both discrimination and tolerance, and I'm only 24. This is really important. We're not asking for anything special, just for what everyone else has, and that's a little bit of protection. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the time to speak today on behalf of Court Order 21. I was motivated to come to speak to you today after watching a horrific video last week of a 22-year-old trans woman who was pulled out of a McDonald's bathroom and viciously beaten by two customers. She was punched, knocked to the ground, dragged across the floor by her hair, and kicked in the face until she appeared to be experiencing a seizure. You might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with transgender protection for this community? I say it matters a lot. Vicious hate crimes like this occur because of the lack of laws preventing a minority from discrimination treatment in things such as housing, healthcare, and employment. Every time a law is added to protect a minority from discrimination, it helps reduce bigotry, hate, and violence of that particular group. It creates needed conversation, as we're having in this room today, about the subject and communication that discrimination against these people is wrong. In the words of civil rights activist B.R. Rustin, our job is not to get those people who dislike us to love us. Ours was our aim in the civil rights movement to get prejudiced white people to love us. Our aim was to create the kind of America legislatively, morally, and psychologically, such that even though some whites continue to hate us, they cannot openly manifest hate. Anti-discrimination laws matter very much, especially in the long haul. You have recently added sexual orientation to the Dallas County non-discrimination policy, and I thank you for this. Transgender people deserve the same opportunity everybody has when we are born into this world. So I ask you, is their right to life, to dignified existence, to liberty, and pursuit of happiness subservient to gender norms? The answer need not be complicated. We all want to be born, to live, and die with dignity. We all want the freedom to express the uniqueness of life force within us, and we all want to live with authenticity. So do transgender people. Now is the time that we realize that diversity does not diminish our humanity, that respecting diversity does not make us less human, that understanding and accepting our differences does not make us cruel. And in fact, history has shown us that denying and rejecting human differences is the one that has led us to inflict discrimination upon discrimination towards each other. Transgender individuals are our teachers, our children, our parents, our friends, our siblings, our workers, our taxpayers, and our citizens. I urge you to vote affirmatively to approve Court Order 21.